displaced persons who are eager to go back to their roots. Addressing the IDPs in Malkohi camp, Ambassador Samantha Power said America is now more determined towards enhanced collaboration with the Nigerian government to bring to an end insurgency in the northeast. She said Nigerians are known for their hard work, dedication, and productivity in everything they do.
I express my sympathy to you, my condolences for all that you have lost, and our resolve to try to make things better together.
The U.S. ambassador also inspected some facilities at the camp, which she said need to be improved to meet international standards. Ambassador Power also visited Malkohi settlement, where she addressed both host and community. The delegation was conducted round by officials of National Emergency Management Agency NEMA and State Emergency Management Agency SEMA. The state coordinator and National Emergency Management Agency, Saad Bello, had earlier told the ambassador that Malkohi camp, which used to house 4,000 to 5,000 IDPs at the peak of the insurgency, today has a little above 1,000 IDPs. In Yola, Muhammad Saidu, NTN News.
The Nigeria Police has, at the end of their two-day strategic management conference, adopted zero tolerance to custodial violence. Bonaventure Wodo tells us more.
The conference, which attracted 150 senior police officers and experts drawn from within and outside the country, brainstormed on issues of custodial violence and strategic police management to achieve effective policing.
Whenever people talk about your organization, they are trying to see how they can assist you to contend with the issues that you are supposed to contend with. Most of us, we are on our way out. I want to go into retirement with my conscience, intact, that I have done everything I'm supposed to do as an Inspector General of Police to position this organization on the right path to greatness.
Major fallout of the conference is the commitment of police to embrace accountability, operate within the framework of fundamental human rights, and realign themselves to democratic policing.
The conference acknowledged the custodial violence and quality manpower capacity at strategic leadership level of the Nigerian police force as critical policing and criminal justice delivery issues in Nigeria.
The conference called on successive Inspectors General of Police to sustain the concept of the annual Inspector General of Police Conference with a view to engaging critical policing issues in Nigeria. In Abuja, Bonaventure Wood, NT News.
Former permanent representative of Nigeria to the United Nations, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, wants Nigerian politicians to see governance as a teamwork. He made the appeal while delivering a paper at the 2016 annual lecture organized by the Ahmadu Bello University Alumni Association in Abuja. Salihu Abdullahi has the report.
A professor of political science, Ibrahim Gambari, spoke extensively on the challenges of ethno-religious dimension of Nigerian politics, promoting sustainable national integration. He noted that for Nigerians to fully harness the leadership potential of President Muhammadu Buhari in tackling the challenges of insecurity, corruption, epileptic power supply, and fuel shortages, those in the executive, legislature, and judiciary must demonstrate the same commitment of zero tolerance to bad governance and develop capacity to bring about the change Nigerians voted for.
The enemies of the Nigerian state are not necessarily individuals. I use the term to encompass those groups characterized by certain negative tendencies, phenomena, and traits which, taken together, constitute serious impediment to the growth, development, corporate existence, and efficient function of the Nigerian state, which serves the interest of the many rather than of the few.
President of the ABU alumni, Dr. Ahmed Tijani Mora, called on members to support the association to mobilize resources for the advancement of teaching, learning, and research. Other speakers expressed hope in a better Nigeria and advocated an holistic and effective peace-building strategies that will solve the crisis across the country. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
In its bid to restore the dwindling fortunes of the basic education subsector, the federal government has invested massively in girl child education in Benue State. Frank Alzoma reports that the move is to provide access to education to young girls who are out of school.
In recent years, Benue State had issues of not accessing the federal government matching grant to develop basic education, coupled with incessant strike by primary school teachers for non-payment of salary. But that is now history.
We have a responsibility to radically turn around the situation of education, particularly in Benue State.
Federal government intervention in the construction of junior girls' model secondary school in some local government areas of the state is designed to restore the lost glory of education. But the slow pace of work at the junior girls' model secondary school in Ushongo may hinder the timely utilization of the project.
By 31st of May, if you didn't finish this contract, I will terminate your this thing. You agree on that?
At the government house, the Deputy Governor Benson Abonu expressed gratitude to the federal government through UBEC for uplifting the standard of basic education in the state. Franka Uzoma Olwa, NTA News.
Business professionals have been urged to cultivate a value orientation that shows the virtue of hard work, perseverance, and prosperity. The charge was made by the publisher of the Guardian Newspapers Limited, Lady Maiden Ibru, at the Guardian Man of the Year Award held in Lagos. Bolore Obara reports that the business mogul Aliko Dangote emerged the Guardian Man of the Year 2015.
Foremost industrialist and president of Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, has emerged the Guardian Man of the Year 2015. Receiving the award in Lagos, the business icon said he is working hard with the federal government of Nigeria to help turn around Nigeria's economy. Aliko Dangote commended Nigerians for their perseverance and urged them to support President Muhammadu Buhari's administration.
How do we actually take Nigeria to the next level? And we look at critical areas where Nigeria is actually not doing well in terms of local production. And we picked up, problem areas. Number one is, refinery. We're doing refinery, which is 650,000 barrels a day.
The publisher of Guardian Newspapers Limited, Lady Maiden Ibru, said that they were honoring Dangote because of his impact on the lives of Nigerians and Africa.
He's a man of integrity, he's hardworking, he's a pride to Nigeria, a pride to Africa, and indeed a pride to the black race.
Some prominent Nigerians at the event expressed their excitement.
I'm happy for him because he's the highest individual employer of labor.
He's a huge risk taker.
The first Man of the Year award was presented to former President Olusegun Obasanjo in 1987. The Guardian Man of the Year Awards 2015 brought together captains of industry, top politicians, and media practitioners to celebrate an exceptional achiever in the country. In Lagos, Bolore Obara, NTA News.
The National Union of Electricity Employees has directed its workers to resume work with immediate effect. This follows the intervention of the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, over unresolved issues in an agreement signed in 2012. The union had embarked on strike under what it termed militarization and lockout of transmission company of Nigerian offices. A statement signed by the Deputy Director, Press, Minister of Labour and Employment, Samuel Olewokere, says an agreement was reached to call off the strike after several meetings with leaders of the union, after which the directive was issued by the union's General Secretary, Comrade Joe Ajero. In case you just joined us, this is Weekend File. It has been alleged that the Nigerian education system does not encourage potential graduates to be self-employed. Rather, it prepares them to seek employment, in most cases, from government. With population explosion and shrinking of public enterprises, the need for skills acquisition and entrepreneurial education cannot be overemphasized. Preparing Nigerian youth for self-reliance through skills acquisition as a way of reducing unemployment, especially within the context of government's economic diversification drive. This remains our focus tonight. Stay with us for details when we return.
you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words: run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, call 09630-3250-5 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
VAT, Value Added Tax, is a tax paid on all goods and services and remitted by the seller of the goods or provider of the service to government. 5% VAT is added to the total cost of goods and services in Nigeria, and when remitted to government, is used for funding development. The VAT you pay will be used by government to develop our transport infrastructure, like roads and railway lines, to continually improve our educational sector by building more schools and upgrading existing ones, to provide adequate security and a better quality of life for us all. Pay your VAT. Make your contributions to the development of Nigeria. It pays to pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
We must remain steadfast in our commitment to steer this country back to greatness.
He is one of the best brands that we have as a country, and we have to take advantage of that.
Look inwards and see how we'll be able to enhance our resources.
The problem now of Nigeria is man-made. It's just a question of patience and cooperate with the government. Nigeria will go back to those better days.
The man who's leading us, he wouldn't talk much, but he does a lot.
We shall deliver security, jobs, and infrastructure. This is the right of all Nigerians. Our actions will speak for us.
Across Nigeria, there are more than 101 tourist and cultural destinations that can account for over 1 trillion naira in national revenues if properly harnessed. With profitable opportunities across its multiple value chain and to promote the Nigerian culture and tourism sector for optimum economic development, the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, is inviting stakeholders to the 2016 National Summit on Culture and Tourism. Theme: Repositioning Culture and Tourism in a Diversified Economy. Special guest of honor, the President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. Exhibition and Gala Night, 27 April 2016, 7 p.m. Conference opening and plenaries, 28th and 29th April 2016, 8 a.m. daily. Venue, Congress Hall, Transcorp Hilton, Abuja. Signed, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and Culture.
Thank you for staying with us on Weekend File tonight. The convenience of regular income and other benefits make people shy away from self-employment. However, with white-collar jobs becoming fewer and more difficult, self-employment through skills acquisition and entrepreneurial experts say may be the answer. How true is this assertion? Over now to correspondent Emmanuel Animiro for an answer.
In the 60s, unemployment in Nigeria was blamed on lack of skills by primary and secondary school leavers who were unable to offer basic skills for the labor market. Today, the explanation is irrelevant as well-trained graduates in almost all disciplines no longer find it easy to get white-collar jobs. A 2015 unemployment report by the National Bureau of Statistics indicates that unemployment rate in Nigeria rose to 10.4% in the fourth quarter of 2015, compared to 9.9% in the previous quarter. The level of unemployment is further revealed by the over several thousand applicants seeking 10,000 vacancies in the police force. With the white-collar jobs becoming scarce, is skills acquisition for self-employment an alternative?
I've been in this GSM village for so many years, at least since 2004. And I must tell you, the what I always take home is something to go home to thank God for. And we have graduates here. We have those who study even in overseas. They're here today managing the little business.
There's nothing wrong in introducing barbing skill or auto mechanic skills to somebody who is in secondary school, who is in JSS 1, JSS 2. Before he finishes SS 2, SS 3, he's already making up his mind.
Yekini, an auto mechanic, lost his parents at the age of 10, but has no regret being self-employed.
As I'm talking to him, my first son is India, schooling there. If I'm poor, if I cannot feed, I don't think I'll be able to send my son down to India. Then my other children, they're in good school.
I've trained so many people in this job, even some are civil servants. In the evening time, some of them come here to repair phones on their own. Some of them brought phones from their offices to come here and fix to their colleagues and make their own money. It's very good. Don't wait for white-collar job.
And there are many challenges with self-employed because the government is not really supporting us by the way of loan or power.
Government providing a more conducive environment for the informal sector to thrive is an appeal majority of Nigerians say could do the magic of a life of government being the sole provider of jobs. In Abuja, Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
The rising spate of unemployment in Nigeria and its attendant consequences have continued to generate concern from stakeholders to curb the negative fallout. Various initiatives have been put in place by the federal and state government. Lynn Leneke in this report examines unemployment in Lagos and the measures to check it.
The 2012 National Baseline Survey estimates the population of youths in Nigeria to be 64 million, with Lagos accounting for the highest rate of youth unemployment. Over time, federal and state government agencies have launched several initiatives aimed at tackling unemployment through various vocational skill acquisition programs. The National Youth Service Corps is one of such agencies, saddled with the responsibility of engaging youths in productive ventures.
What this country needs now, because there's so much unemployment. The corps members have embraced it, and it's very fulfilling when you hear a corps member say, "Oh, I'm not going to search for a job, rather I'm going to create jobs."
We are trying to encourage entrepreneurship. If you graduate, you don't have to look for a job.
Industrial Training Funds is another federal agency at the verge of empowering youths.
We do welding and fabrication, and we cast also, and we do iron bender.
I don't intend to go in search of a job again after the knowledge I've gotten from here. I'll just set up my place, even no matter how small it is. I'll just start from somewhere.
Similarly, Lagos State Government has also boosted the vocational skill acquisition scheme by including vocational skills in the school's curriculum. Experts believe that investing in schemes that empower youths towards self-reliance is critical to tackling the problem of unemployment in the country. In Lagos, Lynn Leneke, NTA News.
Thank you, Lynn. And from Kaduna comes a report that despite obtaining various qualifications, some youths are making a living from skills acquired after graduation when the much sought white-collar jobs are not forthcoming. Ibrahim Bello Gundi met some of these youths who are now employers of labor.
These graduates of various fields from polytechnics and universities are not after white-collar jobs. They decided to acquire skills and establish businesses like metalwork and construction, aluminium work, furniture making, key repair, among others.
From Kaduna Polytechnic, I have HND in Human Resources Management. I have about 10 people working with me right now. There's no work at hand. Let me just continue doing it. Help me in one way or the other.
Do my MBA in Finance and Investment from the same Umeayo University, Kano. But by establishing this kind of business, I believe I can render my own assistance to employ people.
Before my diploma in Mali, I have started learning furniture.
Kaduna State Coordinator, National Directorate of Employment, Isa Abdu said they are training graduates on various skills and they are partnering with NYSC to prepare core members for the challenges of labor market and the alternative skills acquisition provides.
Some of them start business right on the camp, and most of them, when they come out of the camp, they approach the ND offices and we counsel them, we assist them, and they pick certain skills they want to take up and we train them.
An economist and director, Entrepreneurship and Development Center, Kaduna State University said they now combine skills acquisition and academic work as alternative to white-collar jobs for their students.
To build their innate ability, their potentialities.
In Kaduna, Ibrahim Bello Gunda, NTA News.
Kingsley Amajiri in Port Harcourt brings us up to date on the situation in Rivers State.
Of a number of young people who have learnt their parents' trades and all skills and made inroads in their various career paths. Prince Wert is a graduate of Business Administration from the Rivers State University of Science and Technology, Port Harcourt. He has never worked for anybody. Rather, he ventured into artwork, a skill he learned from his father, training over 50 applicants with over 10 employees.
You have a talent of drawing, painting. You do buy a cowboy paper, do some samples and draw. People start personalizing. People see that you can do this. Okay, how much is this? Before you know it, you raise little money, rent a shop. From there, you pick up.
Samuel Momo is also another polytechnic graduate with a success story as a fish farmer, a skill he also took from his late father.
At least not less than 10 in each of the local government. That is what they are doing since 2008 that I knew them.
With the unavailability of white-collar jobs, many unemployed graduates are going into entrepreneurship development for self-employment. Statistics from the ongoing South-South Chamber of Commerce, Mines and Agricultural Trade Fair in Port Harcourt indicates that about 14,000 youths have registered in the fair aimed at skills development for self-employment among youths. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
The program is Weekend File. We thank you for being there. When we return, we'll move over to the conversation segment. Stay with us.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Oh, the weather's looking strange. Oh, wow. Relax. We've got another engine, don't worry. All right, we got no engine now. Come, relax. Megan!
Anybody with a working phone?
Your number has been barred. Please register your SIM.
How could you not register your SIM? It's so easy. Simply walk into any Glow or Glow retail outlet with your photo ID, bro.
Don't let it happen to you. Text REG to 746 to check your SIM status. Register your SIM with your photo ID and your real name, not your guy name, at any authorized outlet and make a call within 48 hours to activate your line. The largest data network, Glow Unlimited.
What if your next phone could take photos like a pro? Like that one, even in low light. Busted.
We were just talking.
What if it gave you a memory to expand to store all your pictures?
He has more followers than me.
And what if it worked in this weather? I did warn you. And what if it could do all of that and still look this good? Not you, buddy. Sorry.
Welcome back to the show, and I have in the studio Mr. Kunle Obayan, the Acting Director General of the National Directorate of Employment, to discuss the issues. You are welcome, Kunle, to the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good. Many skills acquisition program were embarked upon by many administrations in this country, especially even the current one at the moment. And it does seem that the impact is not really being felt as much as the Nigerians would expect. You know, what's your take on that?
Well, if we talk about previous ones that have come and gone, I would say that a lot of them, the issues that they had is improper targeting, and the skills that they were impacting were not very they were not the exact skills that the beneficiaries need. So in that regard, they cannot go and establish, you know, it's something that they lose interest very, very fast. So some of them are like that. Secondly, the synergy that should have been created between those various entities that are in this business of skills acquisition should have been there. Whereas everybody was just in their own little, little cages, trying to do what they can do. But for example, in NDE, before we go out and do any skills acquisition training, we'll scan the environment, see what skills is needed by them that they have comparative advantage, and we even pilot test it. We go ahead and pilot test it and see if it works. Then we expand it. Sometimes we can do one state or geopolitical zone before we now make it national. So we test it to make sure it will be successful. So that's been the way to go for us.
For the NDE. Now, part of the challenge is said to be lack of startup capital. Right, and now that you said you do a test run, first of all, before you engage in a particular skill acquisition program. Tell us more about that. Let's be specific this time around. Let's know the areas, those specific areas, because as we're on the show tonight, we could convince many young Nigerians, you know, to take up some of these skills. So, which are the areas that the NDE has been focusing on? And we also talk about the startup capital, which a graduate from NDE would require to start business.
Well, thank you very much. The main thing is when we have four core programs: vocational skills training, we have agricultural skills training, special public works, and entrepreneurship skills training. So vocational skills, in the vocational skills we have several skills, approximately 100 of them, from fashion design to barbing to vulcanizing to being a mechanic, electrical technician, repairs of laptops and phones, you know, so many of them like that. And they go in for the training. The training typically lasts 3 to 6 months. And so it's quick wins, so they can quickly get back on track instead of going back to school or, you know, again. Then in the special public works, we have this environmental beautification scheme where they make blocks, those fancy blocks, you know, and some of them they make water catchments, you know, wells and things like that to show them what they can do to make some money, as well as some of them even have experience in road maintenance and construction. In the agri skills, they have several. It could be fish farming, poultry, cattle, sheep, and goat, several like that. But each of them, by the time they finish, they go into entrepreneurship training. You have to go into some business skills training so that you can manage your business better. So that's the way it goes in NDE. About the empowerment amount, the issue we've had is that we can train a lot of people, but when it comes to empowerment, we don't really have adequate funds to do that. So what we usually do is to have something that is demonstrative. Why it's demonstrative is that we bring out the best of them, we empower them to show other funding institutions that this is a viable business that can be funded. We make linkages for them to banks, CBN, BOI, and everything like that.
Okay, that's interesting. Would you tell us what is the response of the younger generation of Nigerians? Is NDE having more and more youth showing interest in skills acquisition? Or do you have the difficulty getting a good number of Nigerians that would want to take to some skills?
Honestly, the younger ones are not very interested. They're not very interested because the curriculum, you know, of the educational curriculum they've passed through does not prepare them, their minds, for, you know, getting the skills, for skill acquisition in order to get employment. They are looking at white-collar jobs. So when they come in to us, the ones that decide to come in, will give them some value reorientation, you know, so that they can have attitudinal change towards the fact that having skills, other skills, and being blue collar does not make you lesser of a person. So you can even make a lot of money from there, especially if you have gone through the 4 walls of a university, then you go into that area, you will really make a lot of money.
You actually mentioned this at the right time. I was going to ask you about the educational system of the country that perhaps has not provided enough avenue through which by which the students could be have training, entrepreneurial training while in school. You have just talked about that, but you have practical experience on training young Nigerians. Now, what would you advise for Nigeria, for the government to do with respect to inculcating or rather allowing entrepreneurial programs, to be part of a school curriculum?
Yeah, for sure, entrepreneurial programs should be part of it. Because the reality is that white-collar jobs are no more; they're extinct. So they need to face it from the beginning. And some of the things we are doing right now is we have a school-to-work program. The school-to-work program starts from SS1. We give them a skill in SS1, another skill in SS2, and in SS3, we put them on attachment. So if you eventually go to higher institution, you have a skill to get yourself through school. And if you don't need to be roaming around. You have something to do. Right from that point, we have started that now. It's called School to Work. However, if the government entrenches it into the school curriculum, it will be very, very good. It will be better because they'll be more receptive to all this call for skills acquisition training and so on.
Well, we still have this IT, that's the industrial training. Some students, you see them in some establishments as industrial training students who spend like 1 month or 2 months, as the case maybe, depending on the school's arrangement. But that doesn't seem to be enough time for one to acquire some training, while in school. Now, talking about polytechnics, we have polytechnics. These are the kind of schools where students should have been more practical in terms of what they are studying in such schools. So what should happen with respect to that? Polytechnics what should be the kind of education that you impart on them with respect to being practical about what they can acquire?
Well, in most of those schools, really, if you look at the student to lecturer ratio, it's absurd. We have 100 students to one lecturer. He's not giving them adequate attention. When they get to the lab, the workshop, you may have one lathe machine for all of them to practice. It's not adequate for them. Most of them will leave the place, come out, know very little. Very little. So when they come out, they have the skills gap. They want to work, but they have to be actually retrained to get into the workforce. So all those things, they should go and standardize, the curriculum and make the ratios good and available equipment for them so they can be properly trained when they come out.
Now, you have some trained Nigerians. NDE has actually produced in fact, people who are doing well. I was privileged to be in one of your students' business where she tries to package honey in a very special way. As a matter of fact, she's told us that she's been exporting. She has started exporting by now. Yes. I've been to 2 farms, where you see some young Nigerians have, fish ponds and, of course, poultry, very large. Yeah. Now, let's talk about there are such people training the young other people that are not privileged to be at the NDE. So do you encourage them to do such?
Sure, we do. We encourage them to do so. As a matter of fact, we put some people on attachment with them so they can learn how these people made success of their businesses. We always do that. Sometimes they come in as resource persons during our training for those new beneficiaries. Now,
does NDE still run the open apprenticeship scheme that you have been doing in the past? Are you still on that?
Yes, it's still our flagship. We have the open apprenticeship scheme. As a matter of fact, we have them in most of the states, all the states really, that we don't have the skills acquisition centers. Now we have about 76 skills acquisition centers scattered all over the country. But still, there's not enough.
76?
76 of them.
Are they in all the states of the Federation?
They're not in all, they're in all the states, but not in, all the local government areas, and, they could be far apart.
Is there awareness on that? Because some people may be yearning to be part of the NDE program, elsewhere outside the capital city here.
Yes. Well, we give adequate awareness to let them know which one is very proximate to them. However, these people that for the open apprenticeship scheme, we use the people in the we use what we call master craftsmen.
Okay.
For the apprenticeship.
Okay. Well, please, sorry, time is not on our side anymore. But just one last question. In a minute, how can skills acquisition fit into the diversification program of the present government?
Very well, it will, because it's necessary to have skills in different areas. Now, we're not talking about only oil. We're talking about in agriculture, talking about in vocational skills, we're talking about in so many other things, public works. So, if those skill sets are given to them, especially if it's quick wins, these idle students, graduates, they're not students anymore, idle youths, they'll be able to be engaged quickly and stay out of trouble.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you indeed for being part of the show tonight. I have been speaking with the Acting Director General of the National Directorate of Employment. Thank you once again. This is Weekend File. Sports is next. Do stay with us.
The production, distribution, and sale of counterfeit and fake drugs is a corrupt practice and a crime against humanity. This has informed several measures and strategies to combat fake drugs, including introduction of anti-counterfeiting cutting-edge technologies to detect fake drugs on the spot. These technologies are being deployed to all the states across the Federation, as well as the internally displaced people's camps. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, and his team are committed to this fight.
The federal government of Nigeria, in line with its anti-corruption agenda and posture, will fight a total war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products in order to ensure that Nigerians remain healthy and well.
Lend your support and join NAFDAC to rid the country of fake drugs and unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Sports now. The 2015-2016 season of the Nigerian Women Football League is set to begin May 21 as Rafael Nadal and Kate Nicolay square off in Sunday's Barcelona Open final. Kenneth Imabodike has more on sports update.
18 football clubs are set to compete in the 2015-2016 Nigeria Women Football League, which kicks off on the 21st of May following the 2016 Club Congress of the league in Abuja Friday. Second Vice President of the Nigeria Football Federation, Sheku Diko, who declared the Congress open, said efforts are being consolidated upon to ensure a more viable women football league in the country.
Any future sponsorship we are signing, there must be a deliberate clause there that will have a provision to say that part of that money will go to the development of the women game.
In week one fixtures of the league, Osun Babes welcome Pelican Stars, while City of David United visit Bayelsa Queens in Group A. In Group B, Sunshine Queens take on Confluence Stars, while Capital City Doves await the visit of FC Taraba Queens to Abuja.
Please a round of applause.
Van der Dom Artel of Netherlands has won the men's singles of the second Tombin Open Tennis Championship. The 28-year-old Dutch, who was seeded number 3, defeated African number 2 Safwat Mohammed of Egypt by 7-5, 6-3 at the Package B of the Abuja National Stadium Saturday. Kayode Gadeniyi reports that the game was watched by an unprecedented crowd, including Minister of Water Resources Suleiman Adamu.
But I think I played high level and was necessary. He's a good player and I think I served very well and I broke him twice and that was enough.
Rafael Nadal will play Kei Nishikori in Sunday's final of the Barcelona Open after both former champions won semi-final matches on Saturday. Nadal saw off Felix Kohlschreiber 6-3, 6-3 to return to his first final in Barcelona since 2013, when he won the tournament a record 8th time. Two-time defending champion Nishikori beat Benoit Paire 6-3, 6-2 earlier in the day on the outdoor clay court. With sports update, Kenai Imabodike, NTG News.
Just before we round off tonight's news, a quick look at the weather for tomorrow.
Welcome to our weather forecast for Sunday. Increasing levels of temperature is expected to create scenarios for heat stress occurrence around most places in the country. Let's see the direction this impacts our forecast. Over the extreme north, we're looking at a sunny and hazy conditions to prevail as a result of the incursion of northeasterly winds flowing into the axis, while areas around the central states is expected to be under partly cloudy conditions. The coast and their inland will most likely be under cloudy conditions. In the afternoon, the pockets of heat lows that have been apparent on our weather charts gives an indication that areas around Minna, Abuja, and some parts of Bida could have some isolated cases of thunderstorms in the afternoon. This could extend to areas around Lafia, and some parts of the coast of the southeast are not left out in these isolated cases of thunderstorms that could arise as a result of the intense heating of the surface. And for maximum and minimum temperature forecast across selected cities around Nigeria, let's take a look. The entire populace are advised to keep water and other fluids handy to mitigate the effect of heat stress expected in the afternoon. That's our bit from the Nigerian Meteorological Agency. Do enjoy your day.
And that's how we conclude tonight's edition of Weekend File. See you again next week. Good night.